everybody, welcome to another edition of Barely Inbounds. Hey Dave, what a remarkable ending to the major season.
This was one of the most extraordinary days I have ever witnessed. I mean, I just hope that Y.E. Yang gets his due. I'm afraid everything's going to be written about how Tiger played, so poorly, missed putts, missed greens and everything. This guy was so steady, so calm, cool, and collected out there. Phenomenal.
Best set of shots you've ever seen on 18 with the drive and the second shot?
Oh man. I mean, unless you are out there, you don't really understand what he was looking at. Having to come in over the tree. That pin is tucked back left over there. It was only about 3 paces off of that left side of the of that green. Just a remarkable shot under that kind of pressure.
Not too many people here in America know who he is. Can you give us a brief description on him and some of the highlights of this man?
Well, I didn't know a whole lot about him coming in here too, but I've had to try to learn. He didn't take up golf till he was 19 years old. He grew up on a farm on Jeju Island in the southern part of Korea. He'd probably be working on the farm today if he didn't start. If he hadn't have picked up golf. But within 3 years, he was breaking par. Played on the Korean tour with KJ Choi actually. Had great success on the Japan tour. Had won 5 times over there. Came over to the States. He's won the Honda Classic, and obviously he proved that this guy has got some mettle. That is for sure.
One thing that we have to bring up is the fact that he didn't start until he was 19, but he immediately, once he started playing golf, he went straight to a military service for 2 years. Mm-hmm. So he lost 2 years of military service. Well, that's one of the reasons
why you don't see a whole lot of Korean men out there at high levels of golf, because so many of them go into the service and then they come out and they've got families to support. They're doing something else. They don't go through the kind of junior developmental programs that the girls do.
And then you have to also bring up a very important part. Is you said he won on the Japanese tour and everything. This
guy's been around the block, Sal. He didn't just come out of nowhere. He is very solid. He's 37 years old. I mean,
but he beat Tiger. People don't realize he beat Tiger.
He beat him at the HSBC on the European tour.
How many people can say that they beat Tiger twice? One person.
Nick O'Hearn.
Nick O'Hearn, and who cared? It was a match.
Yep.
This guy's won championships beating Tiger Woods. He's the Tiger Slayer.
It was so interesting because it was almost like Tiger's mind or Tiger's body went in to Y.E. Yang. I mean, he did all the things that typically Tiger does. He came up with the great shots when he needed it. Tiger made the little mistakes. I think Tiger was almost too aggressive, trying too hard. He was trying to zero in on those pins, and he missed by just a little bit, and he would miss on these short sides and leave himself with some really tough...
17's perfect example.
Yep.
Perfect example. Now, we have to mention, you said how he was good friends with KJ Choi. KJ had a lot to do with him coming over to America.
Well, I would imagine so. I don't know that for a fact.
What do you mean imagine? It is the fact. KJ told him, go to America, go to America, go to America. He barely got his tour card a couple of years ago on the number. He didn't play very good his first year on tour, which was 2008, but then he had the remarkable 2009.
Still a learning experience. Again, the guy hasn't been playing that long.
And he's a very humble person. He even, he was very humble in press interview, talking about how, this is his greatest thing. If he never wins again, people will remember. He said he was an average Joe, before he even took up golf.
Well, like I said, guy grew up on a farm and would probably be a farmer right now if he hadn't have succeeded in golf.
Now, one thing that we have to talk about, what does this mean for Asia? We've had the Olympics. It looks like the golf is going to be included in the Olympics, and that's going to be a boom for Asia. But what does this win do for Asian golf?
This cannot be understated, and I think maybe he's a little bit naive. Maybe it's just still he hasn't grasped what happened. But there are going to be so many demands on him because he is going to be such a heroic figure over there, and particularly, the Koreans are going to want him to come over and play in tournaments over there. They're going to want him to play in all those big events in Japan, Singapore, places like that.
China's become a really big player.
It has, and it's going to put some real demands on his time, and it will be interesting. Although, he's exempt on the PGA Tour. Those are the big leagues, so he's got to be there too.
He lives in Dallas. loves living in Dallas. He says his family's very accustomed to the American lifestyle. So, you know, it's
there's
kind of
going
hard.
to be a tug. There's going to be a big tug across the sea because he's going to have this celebrity status that's just absolutely extraordinary over there.
What does this mean for Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods, 14 for 14 when he leads. Tiger Woods is a god. He wins everything when he's in the lead. Is this going to create a problem for Tiger, do you think?
Tiger just goes back to the drawing board. I think more on his strategic and his mental approach to major championships. You know, he did play a lot better this time after playing 3 in a row beforehand, so, you know, coming in here. So he was a little sharper. But again, like I said earlier, I almost think he was trying a little bit too hard, trying to be too precise, trying to do too much. You know, he saw this guy was not going to back down from him, and you know, he attempted some things maybe he shouldn't have attempted.
Well, Hazeltine was a great week. Great golf course, a lot of great crowds, 50,000 every day, including Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you know what? I want to introduce Jay Flemma, who writes for his own website, and he also writes for Golf Observer. Jay, what did you think of the golf course, and you know, how does it rank with some of the others?
Sal, you're exactly right. Hazeltine was a phenomenal venue. It's a very good golf course. I'd have to say I prefer the older classic courses like Baltusrol, Southern Hills, and Oakland Hills, and wish that the PGA would spend 2 PGAs and a Ryder Cup there. But Hazeltine did admirably this time. It was a great finish. 14 was the whole of the tournament. Y.E. Yang's eagle chip in was the moment of this event. Dan Jenkins once said that every tournament has a defining moment when he sees the lead from Woods on that short drivable par 4. That was the moment that turned this entire tournament. And the finish is great too. 16 is iconic, 17 is difficult, and like you said, Dave, what a phenomenal way for Y.E. Yang to put an exclamation point on his work coming over the tree to that terrific gallery surrounded 18th.
Don't you think, though, that the wind saved the day, Jay, on this? The wind was the element that they really needed to put some doubt in players' minds out there. I mean, there was a lot of backing off on shots the last couple of days.
Well, wind has always defined Hazeltine. Tony Jacqueline won in severe winds that blew scores all the way to perdition and blew balls all the way to Manitoba back in 1970, and Payne Stewart survived severe winds in 1991 as well. Rich Beam got lucky. There weren't very many winds blowing that week. But here in rural Minnesota, you're going to get a lot of that. Happily, they cut a lot of trees down at Hazeltine, so the wind did swirl. You did see Tiger back off time and again, especially on 13. In a way, 13 was a bit like Amen Corner at Augusta, another difficult par 3 where you have to be like 12 at Augusta, another difficult par 3 where you have to really be careful where the wind gusts change.
Well, he did that at 17 as well. He backed off on 17 and then airmailed the green on that, and again put himself in a very bad situation.
In fact, Tiger said that the wind changed as he stood over the ball, that Y.E. had the wind in his face, but then suddenly the wind changed and went behind Tiger, and that's why he airmailed the green.
Well, people don't realize that this is really a great golf course that has had many majors on it already. It's been changed many times. Matter of fact, they're going to have the Ryder Cup here in 2016, and you know, it's mid-August. In another month and a half, they're going to tear up all these greens and put in brand new greens and get it ready for the Ryder Cup. What do you think is going to be at the Ryder Cup? Great course for team competition?
Outstanding. Famous author John Gordon said exactly that in his book, Great Golf Courses of America. Hazeltine not only will be a great golf course that will be testing both the European and American players, but a wonderful venue.
Well, you know what? Great championship, a very unusual, major season. We call it the year of the spoilers.
How about
They're going to have antacids out in Bermuda for the Grand Slam, that's for sure.
Everybody wanted Kenny Perry, and Angel Cabrera steals the show there. You have Lucas Glover coming out of nowhere when everybody wanted either Duval or Mickelson at the U.S. Open. Tom Watson, of course, gets deprived of his record 6th British Open by Stuart Sink.
Winning at the age of 59 is the most important thing.
Yes, and
I will note.
Here you have, and now you have Y.E. Yang coming out of nowhere, going mano a mano with Tiger.
To slay Tiger. To be the first person to really slay him in a major championship. Hey guys, we got to run. But it's been a really slice of heaven doing this with you. Happy that you came and joined us, Jay.
Thanks.
Hey, Dave, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for another edition of Barely Inbounds.